Hey, it's Joe Crump, another video in the training series for the $8 Startup. This one I'm going to talk about the clone sites and the listing sites within the clone sites. Remember, there's three different systems in this. We've got the cash flow newsletter, which is a training part of this program. We've got the auto marketer, which automatically does your marketing for you, sends out emails and gets your responses. And then you've got your clone sites, and the clone sites they convert people, they educate them, they sell them, they get them to opt into your list. They have the autoresponder included in it, the Contactor Plus autoresponder included, so that it continues to follow up with them in a sequence without you having to ever touch it. So let's go to the listing site, which is part of the clone sites, and this happens to be my particular one. This is the admin for the clone sites, by the way. So if I go to this first one, it'll open up this first site that I've got. And this has got a bunch of listings on here, and none of these listings are mine. I'm going to talk about the talk about the data feed system as well. This is just a site that I set up for this video. And if you'll notice, if I click over here, I've only got Indiana properties on here. So when I do this drop down, it's only got Indiana properties. If when you first get this site, when you set it up and you click on select, it's not going to show anything at all until you have something on here. So it's going to pick the Indiana, and then it'll let you pick the cities that are available, which is kind of cool. So that's the basics of the listing site. It's also, and I think I said before, none of these listings are mine, but they all have my name on them, and because the other investors that have these are letting me put those on there using the data feed system. I don't have to ask them, I just have to turn it on and make it happen. And this will take me to a full listing of this property if I want to look at it. And this is just a mobile home. By the way, you can use the system with mobile homes. There's a lot of people out there that are buying these little mobile homes for just a few $1,000s and turning around and selling them. This one, they're selling it for $8,500. I don't know what he paid for it, but you can buy these things sometimes for $2,000, and some of them aren't bad places to live in. So it doesn't have to be real estate. This is mobile homes are a little different than real estate. And let's go to a different one that is actually a property. Let's pick this one here. So it brings up this property. It's got a lot of different views of the property. Really nice little house here in Indianapolis. You can map the property by clicking on this button. And it's going to bring up a map and show you exactly where you're at. Of course, if you want to zoom out, you can see where it's at in town. It also has the ability to click on three different things: HomeGain, Trulia, and Zillow. And these sometimes give you values of the property. And if you'll notice here, this value here is actually less than what we're showing on the sale price of this property at $375, although we're selling it on terms. So you might want to turn off the HomeGain site because it's showing it to be less. And you can do that within the admin on this thing. You can also pull up Zillow and Trulia. And Zillow sometimes is a little closer. Let's see how close they are on these values. This is showing that it's being sold for $399 by owner, and we got it for $375, and the estimate is $361, which is still less than what we're asking for it. But again, when you sell property on terms, you can always get more than it's worth. The other thing this site has is a mortgage calculator, which I use for a lot of different things, actually. You can put in the value of the house, how much down they've got. If I just want to find out what the mortgage is on a $375,000 property, let's say a 4% interest over 30 years, I can click this and calculate. And not only gives me the monthly payment and the amount financed, but I can scroll down the page and it'll show me 30 years worth of payments. So in month one, if I'm paying $1,250 in interest, $540 in principal, and that's going to be the remaining value. And every month that's going to change all the way through 30 years of this, which is really cool to print out. If you're selling anything on a land contract, you can use this and print it out. And also the people that come to your site can go in here and they can play around with their mortgages and try to figure out what they can qualify for and what their payments should be on these deals if they decide to get a loan on the deal. There's a lot of other stuff here too, where we have opt-in lists for rent-to-buy buyers, and where we have opt-in lists for investor buyers too, where they can click on these buttons and it'll take them to a sales page. explaining what it is we do, and then once we get them on our list, which also puts them into Contactor Plus and puts them into one of these categories here, then we can do blast mails to them. We can do a new campaign broadcast to any particular group that we have. So if we build a investor list here or a buyer list, we can send those out manually, as well as let them get the messages that we're sending, the regular messages that we're sending out, that go out in the sequence that we use here, like this. Let's go into the admin of this, just so you can see how the admin works. I'll log in to the user section. I guess I should put in the correct password here. Let's try that again. And I can put in a new property listing doing it this way. I can put in a property address here, and it'll allow us to validate the address. It goes in and looks up the address to make sure that it's a real address, so that we don't have a bunch of phony or bad addresses in here. That because when you have bad addresses, then the Zillow and HomeGain and all those things don't work anymore, and it takes people to the wrong place, and it puts the wrong map. Again, if you wanted those truly a HomeGain Zillow off, you can just click this on this button and it'll get rid of them. You can put a headline up there. You can put the property address as the headline. You can put a lot of features into this thing. You can also, in the description, you can add HTML if you know how to do that, how to write HTML. You can paste it in here, which means that you can embed video into your listing site. So if you want to take a home video around, you can walk around the house, show the house. You can upload that video to YouTube or any of the video sharing sites, and then you can embed that YouTube link right here into your description, so that it shows up in your description of your properties on the description page. So it would show up in this description section right here. A lot of options you've got with this. You can also create multiple users for these accounts. So let's say you've got all these, you don't want your assistant to be able to get into your master admin, but we want them to be able to list properties, or you're using a virtual assistant off of Elance or something like that, and you want them to be able to list your properties for you, but you don't want to give them all your passwords. So you can create a profile for them and put them in. And you can also have different, if you're working with buyer agents that can help you sell your properties, or if you're working with other people to help you sell your properties, you can create different profiles for them, so that when the properties come up, it can be under different people's names instead of just your own here. The nice thing about this particular system is you can have all the properties under your name, plus be able to go out to the data feed and pull in more. And on the next video, I'm going to show you how to use the data feed system. It's very cool.